So are you doing the intro? I guess I am. So
Good
welcome,
evening,
ladies.
and gentlemen. Hey, know your damn role there, Messiah, and shut the fuck up or get the fuck out of this podcast.
Now he thinks he's the Rock. Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Good evening, and welcome to the podcast. I am the Heartbreaker, but I am choosing to go dark tonight because the crippled Messiah thinks that he knows his damn role and actually can run this podcast without me. So let's see how well everybody likes listening to Paint Dry. And his assistant, who likes to tap his own ass, Principal Tap Ass. So, and I'll just back out of this, and I'll let the crippled freak who likes Orange Cassidy. And the only reason I'm also out of this is because our guest tonight also seems to be an orange juice loving Orange Cassidy freak. Maybe they can both keep their hands in their pockets and do this podcast while playing with themselves.
Hey man, you gotta just enjoy yourself sometimes, okay? You gotta love yourself every once in a while, Hands in the pockets at all times. It's
Can't
okay.
hear you,
No judgment here.
Nathan, can't hear you. Can't hear you, Nate. Can't hear you, Nathan. Anyways, while he's trying to get his technical difficulties, can't hear you, Nathan. Okay. Welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you wrestle at, and whatever else you would like our
Yeah,
viewers
no,
to know.
yeah, absolutely. No, appreciate the intro, even though there was a lot of hate on that, but okay, it's all good. Orange Cassidy's still one of the goats. But in all honesty, my name is Chuco Bumm. I wrestle out of El Paso, Texas. Promotion wise, Pro Wrestling Legacy, one of the best if not the best, honestly, in my opinion, the best in all of El Paso. We will train the new top dogs, so keep an eye out for them. If you haven't checked out a few of our episodes, it's on YouTube. I myself, I'm spreading my wings. I've been wrestling in Arizona as of late consistently, and now actually out in Portland, Oregon, so right around the area. So I'm definitely trying to go ahead and make my way up to Washington, though. But from my understanding, you need a license. But my name is Chuco Bumm. I'm your local homeless luchador. And not to worry, it's just it's always a great time here, always a fiesta time, if that makes sense. But you know what? That is just who I am. I'll provide some good lucha on top of some great American style. So the best of both worlds, being in the border town out here.
Very cool. So, a little bit about Washington State Wrestling. Yes, you need a license to wrestle in Washington, unless you have what Nathan's or Crippled Messiahs in my promotion has, and it's called a theatrical wrestling license as a
Oh, okay.
promoter. Therefore, as long as it's student based, you can wrestle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. See, I'm not from the area, so I don't know the loopholes of the ways of Washington wrestling. That's pretty cool, though. I need to look into that a little bit more in depth for sure. Thank you.
And like I said, just so happens this podcast is actually based out of Washington State, and we are a brand new promotion in Washington State, and we're always looking for new talent.
Oh, say less. Like I said, I'm already making my way up there again on the 20th of January, so I'll be in the area, and I'd be more than happy to see if anything hops up out there in Washington to go check it out, because I've heard nothing but great things.
So just to catch you up, crippled jackass, because you couldn't stay on long enough to hear anything, this man's actually wrestling in Portland, Oregon, so he's actually in your neck of the woods. And because, you have an infatuation just like he does with Orange Cassidy, maybe, just maybe, you can have a new best friend and give the people what they want in Washington.
There you go.
The hug? Let's go. I wouldn't mind that at all. Do we get a zoom out and everything at the same time?
Absolutely.
This then.
We even get one of the commentators to do the Excalibur thing, or
Exactly. I'll have a little video edit done for that. I was like, yeah, this would be great.
So go ahead and start us off there, Messiah.
Again, I want to apologize for my technical difficulties. I live in a nursing home, and sometimes the internet's not the best. Um, but who were some of your wrestling heroes growing up?
Some of my wrestling heroes growing up. Man, out here it's Eddie Guerrero or die. At this point, Latino Heat was a given entertainer. Everyone like knows he could go. I particularly liked his New Japan stuff when he was a Black Tiger mask. That was some of the best work he had ever put out. So Eddie Guerrero is definitely one up there. Um, I came back into wrestling like I want to say in 2017 when I heard about Kenny Omega and Okada having like a 60-minute match, and I was barely getting back into the flow of things. I saw the WrestleMania with Seth Rollins went for the curb stop on Randy Orton, got popped up and hits him with the RKO. Like that was my WrestleMania in years, so that got me back into things, and I started exploring, and it's just I'd have to say like New Japan. Oh, Naito, amazing wrestler. Sin Cara from WWE was always fun. Um, but above all, like the characters like Cactus Jack, Dude Love, like Mick Foley's my man. Like he's definitely top two in my opinion, though for sure. In my like infatuation with wrestling, just because he's not the most athletic looking guy, but he will always entertain you, and that I think that's what Kevin Owens is to me as well. So I know I threw out a lot of names, but that's a very broad question.
Hey, you can throw out as many names as you want on that question, so that's not a bad thing.
No, absolutely. But those would be like the ones I really like to like keep an eye on because you could give them a garbage like setup or a garbage script, and they're like, "Well, let's go make a lemonade out of lemons." And I was like, "Good lord, man, you guys are amazing."
All right, Tap, what do you got?
Who is the best underrated lucha in wrestling?
Underrated luchador in wrestling. Honestly, man, that's a really tough question. I would have to say El Dragon from like Major League Wrestling. He's really good. He also wrestled as like El Furioso, which like I'm not sure if you guys have heard. Triple A had like a crossover with Marvel, so they had like some
Yep.
like specialty luchador matches with them dressed up as like Incredible Hulk or whatever. El Dragon was the one who played El Furioso. So if you haven't seen his work, man's super good. Absolutely underrated. Someone to definitely keep an eye out for. But he's my underrated like luchador for sure. But yeah, he's gonna come out for sure. Like I'm sure of it soon enough. But I do know he had his time in MLW and AAA, so that's still pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but I want more for him.
Yeah, I agree. And that Marvel thing with AAA was awesome, by the way.
It was crazy. I was like, because I didn't know about it until we started watching like Triple Mania. And then, like, me and my buddies are starting, like, right at the very beginning, which is where they typically have that match. And I'm like, why is Captain America in this match? Holy cow. Is that Spider Man? And then he's doing, like, all the really athletic stuff. And then you find out it's, like, Hijo de Vikingo. So, of course, it makes sense that he's just twirling out of his mind in every little, like, rope spot. I'm like, this is crazy.
All right,
But
Heartbreaker. If you can stop infatuating with Orange Cassidy pictures or Pee Wee Herman or whatever you want to talk about on your phone, you got a question?
Hey, not only am I booking this damn podcast, I'm also booking talent for your damn promotion. So you better watch out before you speak to me there, Messiah, and know your damn role and do your damn job.
Ooh, look, I'm shaking. Look, see?
Oh, goodness. This is good stuff. Not gonna lie.
What is your pre and post match routine?
My pre-match routine is just honestly just hang out in the dumpster, drink a little bit, like just to relax the nerves. If it is like, which it always is nerve-wracking to get into a match. So I'll have like a beer or two, as a bummer that I am, but relax, get into character, maybe take a quick little nap on the pizza box. But aside from that, it's usually just listen to maybe Turnstile, which is a band that I really started liking for some reason. But outside of that, that will usually get me pretty pumped up for a pre-match. After the match, I just again finish what I started, and I start like hanging with the guys, having drinks with them, and then until they like shit me under the ring, you know, and they're like, "All right, time to take you home." Yeet me under the ring, slide me in, and you know, I'm like, "All right, sweet, it's a nice fun night, easy day." But yeah, post match, I'll just watch all my brothers like wrestle too, and then from there, like I said, I'll obviously be drinking during the time, but I'm like, this is some good stuff, guys. Wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. It's very very good, and you know, just get to learn more by like watching like some of these vets, you know.
So, who's the biggest name you've been in the ring with so far?
The biggest name I've been in the ring with so far, it's this one wrestler out of Albuquerque called Gino Told You So, Gino Rivera. He used
Yep.
to be in uh yeah, he used to be like in the cruiserweight division under a different name for like WWE. That was like a really cool match to have because he was a super vet. He's been in like WWE before. He literally like has a booking every week. It feels like all across the nation, and he's doing what I essentially would like to do is just like be able to wrestle for a living and you know get to travel, go to different places, broaden the horizons, you know. But it's just that's probably the biggest thing that I've had so far. But I'm looking for some bigger matches hopefully soon. So uh, stay tuned to come.
Yeah, Gino's a friend of the podcast. We've actually had him on here before, so.
Oh, no kidding! Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I never would have like. Yeah, that was one name that I was really nervous about. So it was and probably one of the most like elaborate matches I've ever worked because he saw it from so many different angles, and I was like, I would have never thought of that. This is so enlightening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to put light onto the fact of what our guest had just said, I know for a fact that Mr. Rivera has a full 2024 schedule already.
Yeah, no kidding. That man is getting booked like everywhere, left and right. He's not stopping. Like his posts are already like, wow, he's got over 30 posts on his like story, and like the last hour alone, I'm like, my man, this is insane. But I love it because it shows that he's really like marketing himself. He's really trying hard to push it. Like, hey, I'm here to work. I'm like, I have years of experience. Like, I'm a good worker. You know, don't worry. I'm gonna give the people what they want. Is like a bad guy to really like hate, you know, or someone that they love to hate. By the way, I'm gonna get a reaction. That's always the essential thing. Is like you don't want silence. That is death by silence is no bueno.
Exactly. All right, Tap.
What is your favorite cookie or snack?
Oh, favorite cookie would have to be like double chocolate chip, like the most sugariest thing you can think of, but it has to be chocolate. Then I'll definitely down it for sure. But I can't really do like frosting on the cookies. Like I'm just like, oh, this is not the same as like just having a straight up chocolate. That and like snacks wise, we always have like this one wrestler called Justice Jeru. He actually will always bring a share size bag of gummy worms. And recently, I've just like rediscovered how much I love gummy worms because of that. So I'm like, that is actually part of the pre-match. Now that you mention it, so that will also be a part of that. So I'm like, this is nice. The gummy worms for sure.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
I think the Heartbreaker's right. I think you and I are gonna be best friends because those are my favorite snacks too. So like,
Hey, no, I'm more than happy to make all of y'all great friends. But if we sneak snacks together, then you're definitely leading the charge right now. Okay.
I got you. I got you. Hey man, I'm in a wheelchair. I'll just stuff them in the side of the chair. They ain't going searching for those.
Oh, sounds like a plan. Let's go.
All right, Heartbreaker, what do you got?
Okay, just because I gave you the opening to use your best friends line doesn't mean you have to keep going all best friends on us on the podcast here, you know?
I can't help it. He had the same.
It's a
snack
natural
like that.
chemistry. Why you
Why
guys
you
so
hating?
jelly? So jelly with no peanut butter. Terrible.
No, I kind of prefer, your effed with no Vaseline type thing,
Oh, he went
Ah,
there.
okay.
Ouch.
No lube. Okay.
Yep,
That's
I went there.
good.
I did go there. So the hell what? It's my podcast,
Yikes.
and I can do what the hell I want.
Sounds like a plan then. I will gladly
Just,
join in on this.
just stay away with me with the Vaseline. We're close, but we're not that close.
If I do
You're
the
not
Vaseline,
even
do I get booked?
you're not even my top dog there, man. You're not even my top dog there, man. So
I'm,
I,
so-
I,
I'm
I
sorry.
would
That
I
was a
would
great answer.
no. He's the booker. Messiah's the booker. So I mean, it would have to be him.
So if Messiah, if do you want the Vaseline? Is that how I get booked?
You can stay well away with me for the Vaseline. I'm sure we can work something out with the boogie.
Well, okay. Let's get on to the next question, shall we?
Oh my
In your
god.
opinion, who's the best wrestler turned actor?
Best wrestler turned actor would be Batista, hands down. John Cena has like his big name films, but I mean, they kind of fall short for me personally. I'm just kind of like, I really wouldn't say he's an amazing actor, but like Batista came out and Guardians of the Galaxy and really showed me like, oh wow, you actually can like, you have some good facial expressions. You do the whole thing. You really get loud when you need to. So I was like, this is good stuff. I like Batista as an actor, and he's also had like Dune, as if I'm not recall. He just voice acted like a Miyazaki film with Studio Ghibli. So I'm like, this man has range. Versus, I do not see John Cena doing that. A lot of his movies are like the very much the same, like raunchy comedy or action film, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. But it would be Batista, hands down, in my opinion.
So we actually have a question from the comments from one of our friends, Big Money Dodge. He wants to know what your opinions are on death matches.
On death matches, oh man, like I want to get my hands dirty on some death matches. I like the idea of like, oh well, we're gonna really destroy each other, but I think it has to be done right. Like I'm a big fan of like, oh, we have this feud going on. I'm gonna kick your ass the first time, and then second time, we're gonna go ahead and I'll get my win back. If I lose, and then the third match it has to be, we're gonna do a death match. Like someone has to like go like, I hate you, you hate me. This is the appropriate time to do it. To do it just to do it though, like consistently, all the power to deathmatch wrestlers. I don't know how you can do that, but I do like deathmatch wrestling. I am a glutton for punishment. I like that stuff. I just had a blood sport match, which is borderline insane as well. But like to have death match, that's one off my bucket list I've yet to do, but I really would love to do.
Very nice.
And just so happens we might have the guy just for you.
Mhm.
Oh, right. Sounds like a plan.
Go ahead, Tap. Ask your question if you dare.
Nothing like being ominous, huh?
Your top
Right?
5 female wrestlers of all time.
Oh, well, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Your top 5 female wrestlers of all time.
Top 5 female wrestlers. Okay. So I'm starting from like 5. I would say growing up, I was always like a big fan of Stacy Keibler. That's just because like who didn't like Stacy Keibler, right? When they were growing up, they're like I was a teenager, and the hormones were crazy, and she just was absolutely insane. So beautiful times. But number 4 would definitely be. I have to say Bull Nakano for sure. Like she was insane. That like off the cage leg drop video. I'm not sure if y'all seen it, but that was just.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you. That's You've done some crazy stuff in your life. Um, Kairi Sane, Asuka. I just like my Japanese wrestling a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like a huge New Japan mark. Um, got into All Japan as well. But and then Io Sky like is just amazing. But I have to say Sasha Banks. I'm sorry. I want to say Sasha Banks first though, or Mercedes Monet. Like, but that is a loaded question for sure. But Mercedes Monet, like I remember she was having those feuds with Charlotte Flair. And don't get me wrong, Charlotte Flair should be up there, but I think she's just so like she's been shoved down my throat for so long that I'm like, okay, I need a break, please stop. But Mercedes Moné, like when she was going up with Charlotte during like the Raw series, was insane. Where she finished it off, I believe it was her signature submission, but she had Charlotte like been through like the railing on the,
Hmm.
and I
On
was
the
just like,
stairs.
yes, I was like, this is so brilliantly done. Like this whole match, top to bottom, was like beautiful to watch. I forgot like I was watching women's wrestling. I was like, these chicks are beating the shit out of each other. These wrestlers are killing each other right now.
All right, Heartbreaker.
And again, interesting. He says top 5 females, and the first person that pops out of his mouth is Stacy Keibler.
Hey man,
Yep.
you like the eye candy was unreal with that one. Okay, like I was like, good lord.
Well, I mean, I'm just,
Thank you, man.
again, I'm just giving you much props because you're gonna turn into Messiah's BFF.
And I'm okay with this at this point. It's nice to have friends that have same taste.
Because that was my ultimate like favorite diva, and I get so much crap for it because it's like she wasn't a wrestler, she wasn't this or that. And I'm like, who cares?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like WWE at the time was just trying to entertain people, and boy was I entertained. Like
Yeah,
her
me
whole
too.
storyline of trying to be like the opposite sister, her tryout. Like I was like, because the lady before her, I remember she was like, oh, I could type like at 1,000 words per minute or something like that, something outrageous. And then she's like, step aside, old hag. And she's like, I got what you need. I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I love it. Like
Yep.
it's just amazing. But no, that was definitely like that. Like to this day, I still remember like bit for bit. I was laughing my ass off every time I watch it.
Absolutely.
Well, seems how he's from the great state of Texas. Let's do another top 5 question, but let's mix it up just a little bit.
All right.
Top 5 wrestlers of Texas from the state of Texas of all time.
Justin Rhodes is obviously up there for sure. Eddie Guerrero obviously is up there for obvious reasons. Oof. Shawn Michaels, if I recall, is from San Antonio. He was amazing. So you got him. Undertaker, I believe, is from Austin as well. So he's well up there. And then I'm gonna use a cheat on this last one. The Von Erichs obviously are from Texas, so like you can't speak Texas wrestling without the Von Erichs, in my opinion. So those would be my top choices, hands down.
It's a great list.
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn, I forgot how deep Texas runs. Like, then again, it's like it makes sense. I was like, man, it takes me like 14 hours to drive from like one end to the other, so it makes sense. There's a lot of wrestling to be had here.
So, how did your finisher come to be?
Oh, the trash compactor. Yeah, no, that one's like, or the garbage disposal. My bad. Yeah. So that like, I just remember because I was watching. It's called like WTF moves or like what the fuck moments like on
Yeah.
YouTube. So I was like, oh wow, these moves are pretty crazy. And I remember I saw one of them was like, it was package pile driver, spun him out, but he dropped him on his like he put him on his knee, and I was like, oh, that looks horrible. What if I slammed you though? This could look really good. So I just started practicing it and like really lifting people up, and like I had that explosivity where I could really bring you up high and then like bring it down, but it looks really fun like half the time. So I just like got it off of YouTube and I saw it and I was like, I want to variate that a bit. I don't want to drop my opponent on my knee and break their back accidentally because I take this like damage too, and I know like that's a bit rough. I wanna be that guy.
Sounds like an amazing move, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, it is. Like when I first started like making it happen, when I introduced it to like the school and everything, they're like, "That looks pretty sick. Like that's original. Not no one has that." And I was like, "All right, cool, cool, cool." But can you hit it on everybody? I'm like, "All right, let's proceed to grab the biggest person here and let's hit it."
Let's see.
The-
This is the test.
yeah, which I did. I was able to do it, but I was just like, that took a lot, guys. Like I need to get this build stronger. And this was like 2 years ago, but I had this move down like pretty quick to like my like when I first started. I'm like, I already have an idea for like my finisher, and just build it up since then.
Nice. All right, Tap.
Who is your dream opponent?
Oof. Dream opponent. Mm. Ideally, it would be like Kenny Omega would be the coolest like matchup ever, but that's like so far away. I was like, that would be the craziest for me. But um, right now, I have like a regional goal or like a goal like out in Portland. It would be like Swerve Strickland, like out in that area because I know he's out of Washington. So Swerve
Mhm.
would be the one who I think I could definitely like get to a point where I can maybe get a match with him. Like hopefully, like I'll bust my butt for that for sure. I was like I'm gonna get there. So that's the dream match. I'm forcibly trying to like embed in my head is like this is gonna happen. You're not gonna not have this match.
That would be a sick match.
That would be fun. Like because I know like his brains for like how he thinks, how the matches go out that I've seen. I'm like, oh, it's brilliant. I love it. Like that would be like the dream goal. And I've had that since like since before he started getting pushed in AEW more recently. I was just like, man, just give this man a chance. I swear you guys won't like mess this up. And sure enough, they started, and I'm like, oh, this is peak.
All right, Heartbreaker.
God. That ring crew chat's starting to get out of control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Before I say anything, hey Tony Khan, if you're listening, book that match. This man deserves Swerve,
Yep.
especially if he comes to Washington, because
Hey,
as we know,
a
Washington.
Mexican can hope, right?
Because as we know, Washington is indeed Swerve's house.
Right.
Oh yeah, no kidding. We all saw that like during Wrestle.
Yes.
Yep.
No way.
But let's see here. Top 5. Let's see here. Tag teams of all time.
The Dudley Bros, like for sure, are number 5. Um, just because you always like the good table spot. Like no one hates a table spot. So that was always fun to watch. Um, hmm, I love God. Like from New Japan, they're amazing. Like I love them to death. The Young Bucks for sure up there. FTR, just because their match structures blows my mind every time. And Motor City Machine Guns, like top tier, like tag teams all around. I wasn't really too big of a fan of like old school tag team. I like how it recently changed up where it's like a million things are going on and like my attention span is like tested. I'm like, this is nuts.
So, if you had a dream tag team partner from any generation, who would it be and why?
Well, I would still ride with like my current tag team partner Thrash, just because like we started training together, and so you have that kinship where it's like, yo, we're gonna do things together, we're gonna go ahead and get through with this. But no, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way because I know he has this next level in him that's just gonna be so much better than I could ever be, in my opinion. I believe in that kid that much, so I'm just like, my tag partner Thrash, from PWL. So if you haven't followed him, definitely do. I'm definitely gonna let y'all know he's gonna be amazing.
Gotcha. All right, Tap.
Well, before we go any further, why don't you do our sponsors, Nate?
Well, there's only 2 of them, so this won't take long. Bruce Nichols Painting, and the one that we wouldn't have the podcast without, the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. And you can find the lady that's in charge of that on Facebook, and her name's Becky Bernhardt.
But before you ask your question, Pat, and Bruce Nichols, Nathan wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, because the more
Yes.
you paint, the more he watches it dry, the more boring his
Here we
voice
go.
is.
Oh, he was saving that one. No wonder he was like, mention the sponsors. I have something for you right now.
Yeah, talk about a
So-
setup.
So now, Principal, thank you for that, by the way. Ask your
Oh,
question.
you're welcome. If you could leave a mark in the wrestling business, what would it be?
If anything, like the mark I'm trying to make right now is like travel all over the place and let people know, hey, there's these group of wrestlers in El Paso, Texas. Because a lot of times you hear that, it's like, where's El Paso? Is it right outside of Dallas? I'm like, nowhere close, my good ma'am or my good citizen. It's quite literally the opposite end, like the tip of West Texas. So like I would just want to like be able to tell people like, hey, like where did you learn? Like you really know your stuff. It's like, oh, I trained here in El Paso. It was like we have crazy stars here, but a lot of people have the big fish, small pond mentality, I feel. And I think if we just spread our wings, like we could do so much more. We could get so much more recognition. So if there's one thing I would say is like I want to put El Paso on the map more so and let people know, hey, this is where I train. We all work hard. We make this like not just our passion, but hopefully at some point some sort of living outside of like just training. So that's the one mark I want to make is just let people know, hey, El Paso got inspired by Eddie Guerrero, and like the next like few years after that, we sprouted like all this new talent that just has been yet to be tapped into. So that's like my big thing, honestly, for right now.
Very nice. All right, Heartbreaker.
Hang on just one. Go ahead, Nate, real quick. I'll ask a question here in a minute. I'm doing something.
So if you could be in the G1 Climax tournament for New Japan, since you're a New Japan guy,
Yeah.
who would be some of your like dream opponents in that one to face? If like the promoters like were setting up the blocks, who?
Oof. Okay. Let's see. We have Naito for sure. Desperado definitely has to be on there. So help me God, that would be amazing. Um, Tanahashi, just for the simple fact that it's a legend. You gotta like learn from the legends just by wrestling them. You know, they teach you stuff. You're like, oh, I would have never thought of that. That was brilliant. No wonder you're a genius. Um, let me see. Tama Tonga for sure, because like I love when like he talks his mess like during the matches. I'm like, oh, I would hate to wrestle you because I'll verbally like try to berate you too, and it'll just be a very back and forth shouting match. So it would be fun. That's what I imagine, honestly. Who else? The Stone Pitbull. Like I like slugging it out in a good match, so I feel that would definitely hurt. But at the same time, it's like I gotta try. But those would be my tops for sure. Okada's cool and all, but I don't really get it because I guess I wasn't there for his like uprising. So I got there when, like I said, Kenny Omega started becoming a thing, and the Young Bucks were killing it there. So and that whole Bullet Club storyline was just so good. So that was when I came back into like the New Japan fold.
Yeah. And Tomohiro Ishii and you would have an amazing match, by the way.
No,
So-
that would hurt a lot. I have no like, oh man, that headbutt that he does straight to the jaw. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
well, he's loading it up. I'm like, well, you know what you signed up for.
It's like, yeah, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would be awesome though.
All right, Heartbreaker, you want me to go to tap, or are you ready for your question?
What advice would you give to up and coming wrestlers?
Do it. Just do it. Honestly, because like I feel like a lot of wrestling is very mental, where it's like you think you can't do it until you start trying it more and more, and you get that experience. So that's where you have to take that mentality, where it's just like just do it. Like, should I like spend money to go to like Phoenix and maybe like profit $5 if that, even lose money? It's like, yes, go, because then they're gonna take care of you afterwards. Like, you need to show some sort of commitment. You can't have someone that's halfway in, halfway out. You know, it's like, you have to commit. Like, that's the big thing. So for any up and coming wrestler, just do it. Like, you can't say like, oh, I'll join when I get in shape or after I go to the gym for a while. It's like you're gonna get in shape doing wrestling. You're gonna realize like it's a different type of cardio. So just do it. Not sponsored by Nike, but just do it.
All right,
Well,
Tap, what do you got? Oh, sorry, Heartbreaker. Didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nate. I can't think of one right now.
Let's see. So let's go with the hardest one we have. If you could put together a WrestleMania card, 6 matches from any generation, indies are available, who would be on your card?
All right. So it's a super card. Definitely would have to be Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns in the main event for the like title, because that would be absolutely insane. Like we wouldn't be able to handle it. Um, for the United States title, I would still keep it on Gunther. Like that man has made it look amazing. So, or the Intercontinental title, he's just put it over again, and I'm like, I miss when the Intercontinental felt like it meant something. This is some good stuff. Gunther versus Minoru Suzuki. That would be
Oh,
absolutely
God.
insane. That would be just a vicious match. I'm like, yes, yes, kill each other. um, for the women, just so we could get all of them out there, I would say like a War Games match, but it would be like, and I'm pretty sure this is the route they're going. It would be like all the Japanese wrestlers like on WWE going against like Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Bailey, and like Sasha if she does go back. Like all four of them versus like Io, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and then I would say Azumi from like Stardom. That would be cool too. So like just to sprinkle a little Stardom in there for sure. That would be a cool 4-on-4. Like everyone gets their shit in for like a solid 30-minute match. That'd be amazing. Let me think. So that's 3 matches, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'd have a scramble match. What? Scratch that. Ladder match for the United States title with Jeff Hardy in his prime, Hayabusa in his prime, um, Edge, um, Pentagon, um, Hiromu Takahashi, and Will Ospreay. So that would be fun. I think they'd come up with some crazy stuff. um, for for the opening matches, it would be something like very cool, but like not for really anything like grudge match stuff. I would say started off with Rusev versus let's just say Tomohiro Ishii. That'd be fun to watch.
Oh,
Lots, yeah, some stiff boys right there, and then The second match would be like the last match, I believe, would be tag team title match. FTR, the Hardys, um, in a we already have a ladder match. So I would say in like tornado tag team match.
Very nice. There's the one match I have a question about is the Gunther and Suzuki
Suzuki
match.
match.
Would there even be a chest left of anybody that's in that match? Because
No,
as
it'd
hard
be
as they're
peeled
in,
clean.
like they just like peel like a potato.
Honestly, no kidding. But I would love to see that. I would like to see like, okay, who's gonna be the bigger man in this one? Who's gonna say enough's enough at some point? That would be a great test.
It have to be like a 12-hour pay-per-view because they'd be going for the first like 6.
I'm okay with this. I've made my decision.
All right, Tap, what do you got?
Your worst injury you ever sustained?
I like hyperextended my knee at one point, but it wasn't too
Ouch.
bad. It was just like a quick little like a little quick hyperextension, and then I got back into like a week later, but it was still hurting. I had to use a brace for a good minute, but no more brace, so I'm just like we're all good to go. But that was like scary for sure. For the first few times, I was like, I need to be more careful.
All right, Heartbreaker, what do you got?
I got a headache listening to you talk.
Well, there's some should be some mastering right behind you.
That doesn't help. Your voice is just one of those annoying wah 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 wah, like chalk, like hands going down a board.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I just came up with a different job for you. You know, you're always looking to get more income. You could always be a kid's display for what happened when Humpty Dumpty fell.
Brutal.
Okay. Well, I was gonna.
Tony, and this is coming from somebody that waxes his forehead with turtle wax.
Hey, you got to make it look good.
Oh no, I thought this came from somebody that can't keep his hands above his waist. You know,
hey, they're above my waist now.
Yeah, now. Anyways, moving on. I think the principal asked. Well, no, he hasn't asked you this yet. So, I think I'm going to steal one from him. In your opinion, the most underrated wrestler?
I think it was underrated luchador that he asked, but underrated wrestler would be.
Oh, it was.
Bruiser Brody for sure. I was like, a lot of people forget him. I was like, oh man, but the man had just like the look. You did not want to mess with him, but I feel he's underrated just because he didn't have enough like time to really make a name. But he would have fit the build like perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that he would.
And to me, you know how somebody becomes somewhat underrated is because of like how many people they built characters off of that man. If you look at like the Berserker from like old WWF days, he was kind of built after the Bruiser Brody, you know.
Yeah, the structure. I was like, I see what you guys are trying to do here.
Well, I was trying to spin that around to the most overrated because, in my personal opinion, the most overrated wrestler is Orange Cassidy.
How can you pick somebody?
It sucks to suck. It's okay. You're allowed to have bad opinions. It's okay.
But it's okay there, Messiah. You can ask your question now and just, enjoy your orange juice while you can.
Well, first of all,
I let you guys know beforehand. I'm sorry. My battery is about to die like at 7%. So if I cut off, I am so sorry.
Actually, we could ask one more question, and then that way you don't lose stuff on your phone. So
Oh no,
Yeah.
I will stuff on my phone. If it does cut off, I'm sorry about that, guys. There's not no reason for that.
no, you're good. We'll just ask one more question, and
All right.
it's appropriate because it's the one who knows talent when it comes to Orange Cassidy. Uh, so where can we find you on social media, and when's your next match?
On social media, I am on Instagram and Facebook. I'm working on the TikTok. I've been told you need to jump on that. Um, I'm on X every once in a while, not too often. So if you try to reach me on there, I might not respond like in a timely fashion. I'm just saying right now. But no, those would be like the main sources of like social media outlets I use. So Chuco Bumm is CHUCO_BUMM at Instagram. Chuco Bumm, just the same exact way without the underscore on Facebook, and I'll share my link tree from there just to let y'all know exactly where I'm at all times. Next match is actually going to be this Friday at the Pro Wrestling Legacy, and it's going to be a teacher student versus teacher student tag match. So my professor, my profe, as we call him, Crazy Star, and me are gonna face off against another luchador named Peluchin, which he's trained like almost every Juarez wrestler, which is like our neighboring city that's in like Mexico. So he's trained like just about everyone there, so that's a pretty big deal. And then another good like local that's been pretty killer, Ankler. So that'll be the next match coming up.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun time.
All right. So again, we thank you for joining us tonight. And as always, Principal Tap, it's an honor to have you on our show with me to help me co-host this ride. You know, and maybe one of these days, the Messiah will actually learn that paint drying doesn't belong on a podcast. So
It could be
until then,
entertaining if you spin it that way. What are
See,
you doing while you're watching it paint? Like, what are you doing while you're watching it dry? You can't just be watching it dry. You gotta have some little side stroke, like nice. Have like a fidget spinner or something like that. I could do this.
so please join us tomorrow night when we have Tommy Too Good. Sounds like a cool name, Tommy Too Good, joining us. And then Friday night we have IPW Original Mitchell. So until then, this is Inclusion Matters Podcast, and we're leaving the scene.
Thank y'all again for having me. Appreciate you.
thank you very much.
All right. And we are cool.